Well, good evening, fellas. You might introduce. Well, I know Shooter, but can y'all introduce yourself?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I am Teo, the Prince of Chaos, one of the best professional wrestlers in the Southeast, but neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to discuss right now. So pass it on.
And I am Vin Perp, aka Mr. Gravity, creative head of PWF, EPW, and also a musician, amongst many other things. But I don't want to take up too much time right now.
I ain't in no rush. Okay, so tell me about yourself, sir.
Galley on the drum.
I'm a jack of all trades. Depends on where you want to start. Like I said, I've been professional wrestling, so that's my staple right now. You know what I mean? I've been running the game for a little minute, but born and raised South Carolina. I'm a country boy at the end of the day. Like I said, I'm an open book. You fire something at me, I got you. But I'm a simplistic dude. I'm not complex.
Okay.
I don't like to think I am, at least. So.
Okay. So y'all tell me about this league. Let's start there.
Okay. Yeah.
So the PWF is something that we stumbled across, just like doing our work, paying our dues in wrestling. We were fortunate enough to meet these guys, and I mean, like, he's the champion, and we got 3 other guys that are just insane. And we've been working with a couple other promotions. Shout out to CMW. That we just did an event with them. It went over really well. It was received very well. And now we're able to take what everyone has been working on and culminate it into something that's content, which is, what we'll get into more about with Roku and, the difference that what people should be following up on and, just content in general.
Okay. So what's the name of the is it the Professional Wrestling Federation?
It's the Palmetto Wrestling Federation.
Okay,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
so who's the owner? Who's the founder?
Break it down.
Yeah, I was about to say. So essentially, it started off as a collective, idea that a group of people could do something special rather than one person doing something.
With the inmates running the asylum.
I was about to say the common term for it in the business is the inmates running the asylum. So
I got you.
It really started with me and 3 other guys. We kind of just sat down one day and said, you know what? What would it take to start our own professional wrestling promotion? And we sat down, we reached out to John and Big Grav, and they helped us out. They helped us pull it together. We all work in unison. There's no one head bigger than the other. If there's 6 votes and 5 is no and 1 is yes, we sit down until it's one way or the other. There's no dictatorship, and I think that's why we're on the trajectory that we're on.
Okay. So. That's cool as fuck. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what role exactly do you play, sir?
It's hard to pin it down exactly, but I sort of bring things together.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say creative head, it's more of like I'm the big picture guy.
Okay.
I'm not telling anybody what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to everything and going, okay, this way. So it's kind of hard to pin it down. You ask me that question on a different day, I'll probably tell you a completely different answer.
Yeah.
But cameras rolling, we're doing our thing. But what he said is the truth. There's no it's a multi-headed beast, but we're not exactly wreaking havoc. Okay. Some depending on who you ask, but we will change the game at some point.
I think to piggyback on what he's really getting at is that we looked at our predecessors.
Okay.
We look at a lot of indies around that are here doing stuff, and we admire and we learn from, and we want to implement what we're doing, but we're going to always put our own spin on it. And people can say, okay, a business runs like this, but I came from a completely different business. So when I look at entertainment as a whole, I know that sometimes, when you're doing music, the best music is done in a collaborative space. So the best businesses are run in a collaborative space. We're just taking an approach that's probably not really approached in wrestling, but you'll see it's going to take us a little bit further because we got 9 minds working on it. We have team. We're working as a team instead of like it being one guy and everybody answers to him.
Okay.
So it's going to be real hard to dry our product up because our ideas just keep manifesting.
So how did this get started though? I'm assuming all three of y'all love wrestling. WWF, WCW,
For sure.
ECW,
No,
TNA, all of that.
All that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so who was like, yo, let's do this, like out the gate, because somebody has to spark the idea.
So the 3 guys that I mentioned, we actually all broke in together,
Okay.
training together, and it got to a point where we wanted to get extra reps. So one day we started the hunt to find our own professional wrestling ring. Not as hard as you think it is.
No.
Yeah,
It seems like it'd be hard to do.
it's not as hard as you would think.
Okay.
And we got the ring for the sole purpose of just extra repetitions, just late night stuff in case we would, something hit you in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like, you know what, we have an entire ring. Why not invest into a promotion at this point? And we had already knew John and Gravity from previous experience of doing trying to reach out and do some shooting for different things. And we pitched the idea to them. They loved it, obviously, big wrestling guys. So they were more than happy to jump in with us. And that ever since then, I mean, we pulled our first show together in under a year. I mean, it was...
Yeah.
When was the first show?
It was
Last weekend.
Yeah, last weekend.
Oh, all right, this was out.
And the idea has only been alive for half a year, maybe, if that. So
Damn, okay. So what was the card for this past weekend for y'all's first show?
So we had One Man Army go up against Shaggy Stone, which those are 2 CMW guys. We collaborated with another promotion.
Okay, so the other promotion is CMW?
Yeah.
What's that stand for?
Carolina Main Event Wrestling.
Okay.
And they're great guys. They've been in the business about 11 years. They were willing to come in and work with us, help with creative, really just anything that we needed. They even, called some guys just to make sure we had enough, competition to do what we needed to do.
Okay.
So, I really give a big shout out to them. It's good. We're going to keep collaborating with them also. And after that, we plan on doing something in the community center, which we're gonna keep for now. But it's gonna be really, really cool. We're gonna be announcing it soon, and we got some good backers for that, and it's just a lot going on. It's gonna. I think like anyone can enjoy this. The family, everybody.
Okay, cool. So how many are they called athletes or wrestlers that are under PMF?
I mean, it's the same thing.
PWF,
I mean, professional wrestlers are athletes.
Right.
Like, we don't want to make no mistake about it. Like, this isn't fake.
Right.
Like, we don't use that word. Like,
I will touch on that later.
Yeah.
Not a disrespectful.
We'll get into that though. Yeah.
Like, this is a sport. Like, and it is treated as such within this state and within many others. And people can say what they want to, but at the end of the day, these people are athletes.
Oh hell yeah!
Like you don't see us in the ring trying to do this,
right? But it takes athleticism to do those moves.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So what's your finishing move?
It is called the Broken Angel.
What it look like?
You want to?
No, hell no. Hell no.
I thought you was gonna take it, bro. I thought you was.
I'm not getting power bombed on camera. No, thank you, sir. No, sir.
So if the people at home decide to do some research on it,
Always ready to wrestle.
Yeah, you always got to be locked and loaded. That's the whole point.
Is there any move that's similar to it that like mainstream?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For any of the wrestling minds at home, it's a combination of Mr. Perfect's Perfect Plex. So you would have said, if you remember Mr. Perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I hooked the guy up into the Perfect Plex, but instead of taking him backwards, like straight back, I snap him over onto his back.
Take him on the right.
Y'all got some footage of this? I can see what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I won this.
Okay, so who did you beat to get that?
I did somebody real dirty. I did him bad. Scarred up, blood. It was bad. Little M.
Oh,
Little M.
You're trying to cost us money throwing him into that ring post.
He lived.
Burned him up.
He lived.
Burned him up.
He made it through.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
So, how did you come up with your wrestling move, and why did you call it that?
When I was looking into thinking of something that was devastating, that fits, like a chaotic personality like my own, I was like, it has to be something that looks aggressive, that finishes big, and that I could hook anybody up into.
Okay.
So when I was doing my research, there's 100 million things you can look at and go, I think, but end all be all was the perfect plex. I tried the perfect plex as it was in its origin, and I was like, that's too simple. So then we added the little spice to it.
Okay. So does it look like Goldberg's?
No.
Oh, the jackhammer?
Yeah, is it like that? In my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
I'm about to say jackhammer is the.
But he's holding them there.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the jackhammer is more pleasant.
That's a little pleasant. That's like hurt bad.
Teo is probably the worst thing that you could imagine.
Oh,
he's not a very good guy.
Not at all.
In the sense,
I hurt people.
Okay, that's the name of the game, though.
Don't be fooled by the smile, yo.
Yeah,
that's how I lure them in.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you decide when, like, what you? Let me make sure I'm not calling it the wrong thing. I know growing up, I was a big wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
Ultimate Warrior, all of them. I mean, Road Warriors, all that.
Legends.
And I can't remember if it's called a shtick or a gimmick. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No, gimmick.
How do you? Okay, gimmick, right?
Gimmick.
Okay, how do you? Did you pick your gimmick or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Most times. When you first break in, you are given the grace of deciding your own gimmick, whether that gimmick sticks or not.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Sometimes they'll tell you it's the worst thing they've ever heard in their life, and sometimes, they'll give you one, or they'll say, you know what, it works, kid. Run with it. If it gets you over, stay with it. And I was given the grace to be able to give myself the Prince of Chaos, which is my gimmick, and it's working so far.
Okay, so Gil, kind of expound on that. So what exactly is your persona, your gimmick, your character that you are?
So essentially it's like you said, it's the worst version of a human being that you could possibly think of. It's somebody that was birthed from the pits of despair, from the eternal flame, basically a broken prince, which is where Broken Angel comes from, casted from his kingdom, and his only mission now is to reclaim everything and burn everything in his path.
Okay.
So
that's cool. Okay, so who else is on the how do you call it? I want to make sure I phrase it correct. With your wrestling
on the roster.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I was like, fuck, what is it called? Who all is on your roster?
I would be remiss to not let him bring up his stablemates. So.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it's my running mates. The guys that I mentioned earlier are the ones that are in the roster. So we have Little M.
Okay.
He's our prodigy of pro wrestling.
Okay.
That's what he calls himself. That's what he likes to think of himself. At least. We have Colin Casanova.
Okay.
Colin Casanova, aka King Cass, also known as the cornucopia of sexiness, also known as Mr. Southie. You see him, and he's our local resident sexy man. So that's his thing, and we're still adding. Brand Wilder is another one. He's gonna be the future man. He is.
He's the brand.
Tell him about the Dark Society.
You think he's ready for Dark Society?
You got this. Is that like a tag team duo?
So I am also the leader of a faction. Okay. Because as a champion, you have to have you gotta have your following. Exactly. My lethal weapons. You know what I mean? So the Dark Society was actually bestowed upon me. I was given the right to lead the group by the former OG, which is our OG Cat.
Okay.
Which Cat was here tonight, but
Very good.
It's
Always
me. I'm about to say always on the move as he is. Mr. Worldwide. Shout out Cat.
Cat LaFleur, you can't do it like me, baby.
Me, Brand Wilder, Cat, and some other names that we might not reveal at this time, but
fair enough,
the legacy continues.
Okay, so do you get to go in the ring? Do you portray like what's my man from he used to be with Undertaker, Paul Bear? Paul.
Yeah.
Do you ever get to portray that type of character when are you part of that?
We haven't done that yet. But,
okay.
I mean, I'm gonna get out there. I mean, the fact of the matter is, look at me. I mean,
you can get a vibe off.
I'm too big not to get out there and do it, and I do know what I'm doing to a certain extent. But like, he's got the gold for a reason.
Okay.
I'm going to work up to that level.
Okay.
So
you don't want to be a handler. You want to actually get in the ring and wrestle.
Yeah. At some point.
If we're going to do it, we're going to know.
That's down the list.
It's hard to tell folks about doing something and you don't know what it feel like to take that bump.
Like, people don't understand, like, and I'm talking about, like, I've come from, like, taking chairs, like the brutal backyard
mankind
death
type
match type stuff.
Okay. All right,
Like,
Nick Foley, I see.
My pain threshold is kind of stupid, and he's seen some of it. He's seen a little bit of it.
I've seen it with my own eyeballs.
I remember this time in practice. We were practicing cheer shots, which is like
You get in the ring too? Oh hell, okay.
we all gonna learn.
Okay.
Well, like, it's gonna be
You get around it, you can't help it.
Yeah, you're gonna. We got some stuff coming in store. You won't see matches coming from us, but
Oh, okay.
You got to watch PWF Inferno.
Yeah, you gonna see.
What's that?
That's our show. So
That's
like
the last one?
That's like our Monday Night Raw.
Okay, cool.
Our flagship show.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we just shot our first one,
Mhm.
and that's what the event that we were discussing was. And we're tightening it up now. It should be dropping probably sometime next week.
How do we get to see that?
Yeah, it's gonna be on YouTube in clips until we roll it out on Roku.
Okay.
So we're coming out straight on big boy platforms. Not to toot anyone's horn or anything.
Hey, toot them horns, beep beep. You know what I'm saying? I've been working on removing "lul" from my vernacular. So yeah, I like that you said that. Okay, so what is the, I don't know if business model would be the right phrasing, but what does that look like from going from an independent and building it up and having it on a Roku channel?
Okay, so
Oh.
Am I snitching?
No.
I know how to.
That's
I know how to. This is what I'm here for.
there's a lot to that question.
So
Yeah, I definitely love it. I mean,
I think
layers.
I think what a lot of content creators don't understand is that like you control your content. It is literally what you wake up and create every day.
Absolutely.
It is something that we kill for. We wake up. We're spending time away from our families for it. You're really grinding. You're really putting everything into it.
Mhm.
So with just me coming, like I said, I came from a lot of other square, just not entertainment businesses where it's the bottom line, but it was still marketing.
Yeah.
So when I realized this, I was thinking, if you're making good content, why not find the place that is going to give you what you need from the beginning? I don't discourage anyone from being on any other platform, but there are certain platforms, and I'm not going to name any of them, that make you have to get to a certain level before you can even
Make money off of it, yeah. Monetize it.
Yeah. And so like that's just not what we're dealing with.
Okay.
And so long story short, you want to look into OTT.
What's that mean?
OTT is video on demand.
Okay.
And I mean I'm spilling game now, but
Hey, I'm trying to learn. So is that like a paywall or
not even a paywall. What you gotta remember is that like these companies, whether it's Tide, whether it's Burger King, whether it's Febreze, whether it's dog food, whether it's an average person that's a car dealership, all of these people run ads.
Of course.
And when you can master having the content in a place that they can get to,
Okay.
then you will be able to see different results than what you're seeing on these other platforms. So we really just kind of focus in on where we're delivering our content, necessarily not like how much of it we're delivering, because now that we've figured out like this is really TV,
Right.
like it switches you from being a YouTube channel to you have to make TV.
Okay.
Don't expand any further than that.
Once we start recording, then you can tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? I like
Don't
to
expand
learn.
any further than that.
Yes, because I'm debating on creating a paywall on my website, but it's my website is more so advertising my production pricing, like shooting, video, photography, whatever it may be. But I have thought about adding a paywall extension to that. So
Get an ad broker.
we're talking a little bit. Yeah.
That's off camera.
Okay, cool. So not necessarily the business aspect of it, but when you all put it on the Roku channel, what will be the expectation from the fans? What can they be looking for?
They can be looking at
Action.
They can be looking at to be like TNA. They could be looking
Suspense.
at to be
I mean,
WWE.
it's the show. I mean, we've been working on this show for a while. We were there, obviously, working on the show, but we've been watching it over and over and over and over and
To
over.
get it
and
just
over.
right. Take
And
this
getting
out.
it
Put
just
this in.
right.
Yeah,
Getting
flip it
it
to that angle. Okay.
This is some of the best wrestling
Okay.
that from wrestlers that they haven't heard of yet.
Okay.
Yet is the
Right.
key word there.
But it's coming.
These are good matches.
Mhm.
I don't care what Dave Meltzer says. He's a professional, Mark. He's
Wait, who?
just like Dave Meltzer. He's the 5-star guy. Like he's a professional marketer. He's been a wrestling journalist, which it's a professional fan. He gets paid to be a fan and talk about wrestling, just like I could if I chose to do that.
Hey,
so why not?
I don't have any interest in it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I just had. I'm with it.
I've podcasted in the past.
The more you know.
That's on my resume, and I'll come back to it if I ever feel the need to. But I got much bigger fish to fry right now. Like I said, I'm the big picture guy.
Okay. So as far
I'm thinking about things I really can't say on camera.
How y'all gonna come to an interview? You don't tell me none of the tea, none of the shade, or whatever.
I'm trying to, but I can't talk myself out of a job, brother. I guess.
We can only say what we can say. I mean, this is.
Well, then I ask you this: then what's
the
that?
Long and short is it's wrestling.
What's that?
And speaking of,
yeah,
if any wrestlers out there want some of this open weight smoke, we got this for them if they can get it.
Now,
it's
which belt is that?
This is the open weight belt. This is the Palmetto Wrestling Federation Open Weight Championship.
So what's the open weight championship?
That means that
break it down.
He can go into
break it down.
He can go into much
break it down. Since you might have that.
Is that like for just? And I don't mean to compare to other wrestling factions, but is that like when WWF had the Intercontinental Championship?
Yes. So you would classify it as a mid card title.
Okay. Yep. Got you.
Essentially, the open weight is exactly what it sounds like. So I know you're familiar with like the NWA, right?
Of course.
So in the NWA, they have weight restrictions on their titles. For the NWA Junior Heavyweight title, you have to be under 225 pounds to compete for it. For the heavyweight, you have to be over 225 pounds to compete for it. With the open weight title, there are no weight restrictions. You could have a lightweight competing against a heavyweight in the same match for this title.
It could be me versus him, which would not go well. But
what do you wrestle at?
Like,
I am a heavyweight. I may not look it, but I'm
like, what's your weight? What's your weight?
226. That's what I was gonna say. I may not look it. I'm pushing it, but I'm right there. I'm right there. It's the lower half. That's
okay. I ain't mad at that. I float around about 200. I'm trying to get down a little bit.
Absolutely.
I get this beer off my stomach. Okay, that's very cool. So, how many belts do you all currently have within your federation?
These two right here, and we got and
which ones would be at?
we got the Eminence Pro Wrestling Championship, which is our parent company, which is like the production company that we have. So and we also, I'm talking about the cup also. We have the Stephen Crocker Memorial Cup.
That's who?
Stephen Crocker.
Oh, Crocker. Okay.
That is we could do a whole series of episodes about that man. But the long and short of it is there's a very deep and personal connection within him and myself and other people that are in our extended family. And it means a lot to us to have a Stephen Crocker Memorial Cup. And there will be he ran the Spartanburg rap game.
Okay.
In the early 2000s? Yeah.
That sounds hella familiar for some reason.
Yeah, the Muda Scale. Everybody go listen to the Muda Scale. Everybody go search Crocker as hip hop on Google.
Okay.
Please.
Sitting Shiva, Southern Piano.
Love on Records. Just go.
Yeah, Love on Records. Just search Love on Records and you will find a whole catalog of many different artists other than himself. Mm-hmm. He had a similar idea that what we're working with right now.
He just tried to do it with music.
You know yeah. And without giving too much, without pulling the curtain back too far, it's all entertainment.
Of course.
It's all real, just like the guy, a lot of the people, some of the people who's doing quote gangster rap, whatever you want to call it,
right.
Some of them are pretending.
That's some bullshit. Yeah.
Many of them are not.
yeah.
So like, but it's all entertainment at the end of the day, and we have passion for all of these things. Like I can't pin as an artist myself. I fancy myself a performance artist at the end of the day.
Okay.
I don't just do music. I do comedy. I do drama. I do psychological weird things, abstract, whatever, irreverent, whatever you want to call it.
I'm
a writer.
Working on a sketch comedy show.
Like
I am too.
You know, like
we'll talk about it when we get done.
There's a resume. Yeah. You know, like, and if you're gonna be in any form of entertainment, whether it's interviewing people or being an actor.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to hurt you to learn as much as you can about
because you can
everything.
add something from what you've learned to
Absolutely.
what you do. Yeah, of course.
Like when we met the people at Palmetto Wrestling Federation, we sat down many times and talked about their ideas beyond just wrestling.
Okay.
And we developed a common ground, a rapport that doesn't happen in the very rigid corporate structure of, say, a WWE or AEW.
Okay.
Without throwing any shots.
No.
Without throwing any shots. I don't want the smoke. I don't want the smoke.
No, that's just reality.
But we're trying to do something just a little bit different and create something that's for the people, by the people.
Okay.
Without getting too deep into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see. I mean, I'll give it away because it's something that people need to know.
What you got?
Well, in August, we're going to be doing a back to school event, book bag drive.
Okay, very cool.
I'll send you the dates over. We haven't knocked it down yet, but like we want people to know that we're going to be in the community. Like we want see, wrestling is a very expensive thing to get into.
Fuck yeah.
And so like we want people to know like no matter what, like you could come from whatever background, you still can do this. And we're gonna, we'll maybe come up with some ways to get into the community and get together where we can give some people some scholarships. We can get people like if you're interested in it, because like we want more people to know like Greenville's gonna be a wrestling city soon.
Okay.
And, again.
Oh, it used to be.
The Mid-Atlantic.
Absolutely.
History
Everybody who's not currently into wrestling, just go look up, Google Pro Wrestling Greenville Memorial Auditorium or Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium.
Because then they merged.
Legendary. Hey, Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean.
Didn't they eventually merge with or get picked up by WCW? 10 years ago?
Yeah, it was forever ago, but I think it was the AWA, which Vern Gagne ran. But I have to, that you taking me back to the territories now.
Yeah, man. Once you get back to the territories, man.
No pun intended.
Well, I know it's different regions over the years, and then they would grab some of the superstars from different regions and for lack of better words, draft them into WWF or WCW.
So without getting too much into
I'm about to kick y'all out. Y'all keep talking about to not get too much into such and such. You know what I mean?
Hey, the master plan.
Y'all put the tip in and bullshit.
We're on our job, man. I apologize. We are on our job, sir.
I'm trying to be on my job.
Without getting too much into master plan, like we talked about platforms earlier. I feel like what people are missing is the opportunity to, when you do something like wrestling, it's a live event.
Yeah.
And when you think about it like a live event and only a live event, that is the distance that you will go with your business.
Okay.
I believe that if you study, if you really are into what this business is, then you have studied the Monday Night Wars. You've studied these things, and then you know that it has to transition from just being a live event to television. We're starting off with a TV deal.
Wait, so what's the difference between a live event and a TV deal? Only because I heard you mention the Monday
ownership.
Wars. Oh, okay.
Ownership.
Okay.
Total ownership.
So you want to own essentially the channel.
We're not trying to just
content.
post every little thing on YouTube because then Google gets all the money.
Yeah.
How we gonna live, man?
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
I'm working on that.
We gotta take ownership. There's a certain word that keeps popping in.
Well, you can just say it. I mean,
I can't.
Of course you can. There's no. We can curse in this motherfucker.
No.
All that. There's no filters in here.
It goes deeper, man. It goes deeper. I can't start talking about
more than welcome
certain
to
terminologies.
Disclose. Okay, well, I'm gonna get y'all more comfortable.
Anyway,
it's not you. It's not you.
But
I promise it's not you.
Like I said, man, it's really a for the people, by the people type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For hyperbolic comedic purposes, we say the inmates are running the assignment.
Right.
It's been attempted before, but
who's attempted it before?
AEW is doing it right now.
I think ECW tried to.
It's been,
but they got bought out. So
it's been attempted before, but they never had.
We're doing it our way.
A platform.
So
there's
how do y'all prevent what happened to the ECW from happening to you all once you get to a certain point?
We don't need
doing right by people.
Okay. Because I remember
I gotta be able to sleep at night at the end of the day.
Yeah, but y'all got to pay them bills. You got kids?
Mm-hmm.
I got kids too. Hey,
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're that type. I'm just saying sometimes, and I wouldn't even say it's sacrificing integrity, but sometimes you're like, look, do I sell out, for lack of better words, my company for I don't know $100 million.
When he says do right
You know
by
what I mean?
people, not to cut you off,
Oh,
big bro, but when he says do right by people, he's meaning that like if you take the time to structure what you're doing before you do it,
Okay.
especially in content, like when you start figuring out OTT, which will keep.
So what's OTT again? It slipped my mind earlier. You know what I'm saying? What was that again?
Video on demand.
Okay, so what's the acronym stand for though?
So it's not.
It don't make no sense.
Really?
It doesn't.
When I first
You're going to be disappointed if he tells you.
when he first started going.
Disappointment. What is it?
When he first.
Tell me more.
All right, so it just means video on demand. So let's break. I'll give you an example.
Yes, sir.
So like when you go to YouTube, that's not OTT because like there's not like a season that you can binge. Like the creator has the control to be like one episode a week because that's all he can do as fast.
Okay.
OTT is when you go on Tubi and you see 12 seasons of something you can binge. The way Law and Order is that video on demand.
So you basically saying like a catalog.
Well, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a catalog. You can do it one at a time, but that's more game. But I'll just give it like if you're doing anything OTT, and if I keep saying it, there are people in the OTT, so I might as well say it. So truth of the matter is like you're doing yourself a disservice if you just try to like drop like 50 Cent does because you're not on Stars, bro. So like you just better off like shooting a bunch of content and dropping a season so they can't bench you out.
Oh, got you. Okay, yeah. I didn't talk about. I think Netflix does that if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then whereas Disney Plus does it, they don't do it, and it's you got to watch one episode every week
because
which kind of gets old.
And it keeps you, but it does like so
it keeps you engaged for a longer span of time.
Well,
technically,
you can tell where they are in the sense of
yeah.
When Netflix has that control to where like I give you a whole season and you still gonna stay on here.
Well, to me, Netflix
cocky.
has more content compared to Disney Plus. Well,
they cocky with their Netflix.
Kind of depends because Disney Plus has
they know they winning. Like and what's cool and fun fact, WWE is going to Netflix, and and they're going to be uncensored. So
the live events or their discography.
Everything.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, it's about to be fire.
You know,
it's about to be real.
That's why we don't want to talk too much because people figure.
So is that what y'all want to do?
People figure things out, man. This
really
is
fast.
Of course.
He's already said too much.
Well, just he did. Just to keep
it a $105 with you, man. He's already said way.
I'm learning something because I've got lots of content.
I am honestly starting to fear for our lives right now. I'm like,
so
Lord.
what's your responsibility in this content part of it, or you let them deal with it?
That's they point and I hurt people. When it comes to the production, the cameras, the contracts, all that jazz.
The deeper you get into the entertainment business, the worse it gets. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what they tell me.
But not with us because we that's what again when we established our business. That's why people gonna love us because the truth of the matter is we keep it. We do it. Like you said, there is no leader of our organization.
It's a group effort.
And
Okay.
And so that's why you're gonna have a hard time taking us down because it's too many.
Okay. Not to say too much. You know what I'm saying? So who was your hero growing up as a wrestler?
Oh my God. That's always a hard one.
Okay,
I was such a few. Okay, yeah. I can do that. A few of them. So I grew up in the early 2000s of wrestling.
Well, how old are you?
I am 26.
Oh goddamn! You gonna say some young folks? Okay, go ahead. Who you got?
So I definitely grew up. I'm not gonna say I was forced to watch WWE, but at the time it was a very limited space. You know what I mean? In the early 2000s, WWE was the major player.
Of course, yeah.
You had TNA. TNA was on the come up. Yeah. ECW was there for a second.
Taz and
that's what I'm saying.
Taz over to WWE.
Exactly. I was a big Shawn Michaels guy on the back end of his career too. So still love Shawn. Okay. I was an Eddie G guy. RP Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. How you talking about?
Triple H. Through and through, and probably round it off with Probably got to put Jericho up there, man.
Chris Jericho?
Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Man. Chris Jericho.
Okay,
I wasn't really one of those kids that really got into the gimmicks, believe it or not. Like, I didn't really, like, love Undertaker to death, but, like, as a kid, I didn't go, oh, wow, I love Undertaker.
See,
but, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I watched the wrestling, and I was like, oh, yeah.
You see how young he is? Boy, I used to lay in the bed and be so scared my room was going to go purple.
I was never scared of Undertaker, but just his character, he had Paul Bear.
And it was so cool.
Yeah.
But that's like the kids with Jeff Hardy. Like,
Well, true.
That's true. That's true.
Respected and loved Jeff, but I just wanted to, yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. Then they had Christian the Edge, and they was doing all their high flying, almost like white luchadors. That shit was fire.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is your wrestling style like?
I definitely try to work strong style. If you're familiar with that,
Beat your ass.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I was about to say, if you ever watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, that's what.
If
you get in the ring with this man, you're gonna get hurt. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna take care of it. I'll take care of it.
If Lil Scrappy was a wrestling style,
okay, like if you buck. All right, fair enough.
Ow! When I was sitting at home like watching them, oh God!
What do y'all think when y'all watch it? Because y'all are also fans.
Facts.
When y'all watch it, what do y'all think? It's like, damn, this is our production, but I'm also seeing wrestlers that I'm fans of. What's that feel like?
It's like coming from music. It's just I don't look at it no different from like any artist. Like when we had Generational, which you're familiar with, I just looked out, we looked at them and we wanted the best for them. It really doesn't change with what you do. It's just really great to see somebody go from green as grass to they have a character now. They know how they want to carry themselves. They're coming at the game a whole different way. We really look at it for more or less that part of it, man. Like, we could mark out, but like we've been in the business for a couple months now, and that goes away really fast.
Man,
so
sometimes I'm not trying to like disrespect nobody. I know it's hard.
Come on with it.
But some wrestling I can't watch.
Such as?
I can't, man. I ain't gonna call nobody out because, like I said, I know how hard it is. But if you got Triller TV Plus, go look up pro wrestling and just watch. Just look. I love GCW. Just for context, I love GCW. I think they're fantastic.
Resident wrestling historian, because these are the brands they like.
Yeah, I don't know about those brands.
Nobody
What's
knows.
GCW?
Game Changer Wrestling. People should check out Major League Wrestling.
Okay.
That's a company that's been around since like 2000 or 2002 or something like that.
2003.
2003, okay. Yeah.
See, I'm jaded because a long time ago. So when they first opened up the Balo Center, Bon Security Center. So I was in 9th
It's always going to be the Balo Center.
That's where I saw Korn and Rob Zombie in 1998.
Ooh, that was fire. So my stupid ass, I got tickets, a ticket. I went by myself to see Monday Night Raw. And I knew as far as what we would say is wrestling is fake. I know it's not fake as far as athleticism, but for TV, it's fake. Quote
it's
unquote.
not fake.
I don't think it's fake either. But I will say, no disrespect, in person, it ruined it for me. I was like, I need the storyline with the commentator. Do y'all have commentators?
Yes.
Who's the commentators?
Some guys that.
Well, yeah, they're not
just
here
some
right
guys.
It's some guys you'll never meet.
Why?
Because they do a lot of jobs and they're very, very busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd y'all find them?
At live events, like you don't really know who's going to be doing commentary until you actually show up. Which will be more open about live events as more develop. We currently are only working on one.
That's a mistake to
Let's
ever
be
next
completely transparent.
What's the next one?
So that's going to be our back to school drive.
So you'll be giving out like school supplies and backpacks.
Shout out to Dollar General. They donated 40 book bags.
Very cool.
We also got roses. They want to just give whatever they can. So like I'm gonna get with them later this week and we'll see what they can do.
Very cool.
We're just going around and trying to make this a community. Again, like coming from music, we know that like you need to touch the community. And I just think that like with a lot of promotions that you see, they're wrestling their behinds off.
Yeah.
But they're missing that element of building the fan base. And so we're not in a rush to like pack out. anything. We gonna slow walk this because we know our product is good.
Thinking very long term.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where will this next event be at?
We're looking. I would go ahead and announce it, but we're still waiting to do the finishing touches on that. But it's gonna. We'll just say West Greenville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to really touch the community.
Okay.
Yeah. Hence the back to school drive.
Yeah.
But
But that's cool though, because that not only will it make people come out just because it's good, it's a good product, but it's also like, okay, they including us, and we're gonna come out here and support it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have food. We're gonna have. It's gonna be.
We're gonna take care of everybody.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be outside or indoors?
Indoors.
Mm-hmm.
We like air
Too
conditioning
hot.
now. We just did something.
Yeah, it's hot as hell in this room, truth be told. But,
had to almost worry about my champion.
yeah, I'll let you fall now.
He earned that belt. He really earned that belt. I'm telling y'all. Once y'all finally see the footage,
How
man.
long was that match?
20 minutes.
20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
20 minute time limit.
Yeah, that's why people don't realize. Like, it's some athletes, they might not actually really kill each other.
In 96,
that's the conditioning
just
is
96 degree weather, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the heat
nothing
index
crazy.
of like plus 101.
Yeah,
It's no
nothing
big
crazy,
deal.
nothing crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot that you have to put into it to be able that doesn't register when you're thinking about it. I've played sports my entire life. I've been playing football since I could walk. I played baseball, played basketball. There's nothing that compared. You can do as much cardio in the world as you would like. It's not gonna help you.
People talk shit like boxing.
That's a different animal,
3 minute
man.
rounds. Hold your arms up for 3 minutes and block for 3 minutes. Yeah,
different
you might can stand there for 3 minutes, but holding your arms up is a motherfucker.
And then know the wind is getting taken out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, hold your arms up and block and punch for 3 minutes.
Exactly.
So how did you get started, and then how do you prepare for a match?
So you mean how do I get started? Like, how did I get started in the business?
Yeah,
and
in general. Like, how did you go from just being a kid to learning moves and how to actually wrestle, and then what do you do to prepare for a match now?
So at the foundation of it all, it really started on. I mean, it was a random day, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, I can't really remember what drove me to do it, but something told me to look up. Schools in the area because like when I was coming up, and I know it was especially like when these guys were coming up, training wasn't you couldn't just go out and do it, right? You had to send a VHS tape. It had to get approved. You had to wait 3 weeks for a phone call. You might get flew out.
You might not.
It might not. Nowadays, I guarantee you, if you go on Google to anybody looking to become a professional wrestler, if you're willing to take the time to train and do it, there are training schools within 30 miles of your house. I guarantee it. They're everywhere.
Dang.
Everybody has a training school now, even here
Really?
in South Carolina.
Where's the training school here?
There's
a couple places.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah.
And then there's places in Georgia, there's places in North Carolina.
I think in
places
Georgia there's a
Tennessee.
lot of gotcha.
Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not. If you just
we ain't
really,
giving nobody no shout outs. They ain't paying us.
No, I didn't mean like that. I
Facts,
just mean in
though.
general, like
Facts, though.
because it didn't ever dawn. At least at this age, it never dawned on me like, damn, there's some wrestling schools not down the street, but down the street. You know what I mean?
And that's how it was for me. When I saw the different options, I was like, let me reach out to a couple of these. One stuck. I started training and took off from there. It wasn't complex at all. You had to have like a fill out process. There's like an interview type deal just to make sure you're cut for it, that you're going to commit to it. And then you start a 10-week course. Most schools are going to be a 10-week program, and most schools graduate you.
Okay.
And then they offer you a master class afterwards.
What's a master class?
That's basically saying, hey, you graduated, but if you would like to continue to sharpen your skills and improve your game, we would love to have you back type deal.
You never.
Oh, yeah, you never get too good.
You gotta add something to your repertoire every time.
Exactly.
Okay. So is that what you do? So now how do you prepare for a match now that you're actually in the business?
I think a lot of it is just getting those reps on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you take what you've learned and now you have to apply it. But the beautiful thing is, like, in the training school, you kind of work with the same people that you're breaking in with for those 10 weeks. But once you start getting into the business and working at different promotions, you get to work with guys who are already 10 years in, 15 years in. So you can really learn, right? They teach you on the fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some guys are calling it in the ring, and then other times they're just giving you tips and advice after they see what you've done and let you know, hey, kid, you can work on this, or hey, you should think about doing this. It's beautiful, man.
What's that look like when they're calling it in the ring?
It's a lost art. It's a lost
art. It's a very
There's very
difficult
few people
thing
that can
to
even do that anymore.
Oddly enough, I was on.
Our guys can all do, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of them.
Yeah.
It's basically being a ring general, like how a point guard would come across half court and put everything into motion. There are some people who are intelligent enough in professional wrestling that can construct the pace of an entire match off the top of their head. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's impressive.
What was
Impressive
that
thing.
Well, I was actually on X, formerly known as Twitter,
whatever
not
it's
too
called.
long ago, and there was a whole discussion, like an audio discussion, about calling it in the ring, led by Joey Janela of Game Changer Wrestling, and I noticed other people from actually several other organizations were in there, but yeah, they were all talking about they were basically like encouraging people to call it in the ring because, for lack of a better way of putting it, it just hits different.
Let me ask you a question. Let me get my report
Here we
on.
go. This is
Now,
crazy.
Now,
Well, while you do that, let me get me a beer out of the fridge since you took my job.
Word.
We're switching roles up here, brother.
so, all right, cool. What if I didn't learn that way and I'm a spot guy? How does that affect? How do you think that affects the product, like the product we make? Which you know what we make, but how do you think that comes across, to somebody that only learned spot?
I mean, you could just work out a series of spots all day long.
Wait,
but,
what's a spot for those who don't know?
like say for example, okay, so this is the blurring of professional wrestling and music.
Okay.
Cat, the guy that
The
he
manager for
referred
the
to
Dark Society.
earlier,
Okay.
he and I did a show at Paper Moon Studios. Everybody check that place out in Greenville.
Yeah, shout them out because they
Yeah,
really rock
man,
with us.
they legit, man.
If
They
you're looking
really
to
about
do
the
a show
community,
somewhere,
too.
they really affordable. Like anyone can
Yeah.
afford to do a show. They'll work with you, y'all. Please,
Yeah,
support
we're
Paper
definitely
Moon.
trying to put them over too. Now that I
Yeah.
mention them, but yeah, we did a show there that we marketed like a wrestling match. We were cutting promos towards each other,
Yeah.
like he was. I mean, basically who he is with Dark Society. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
that's just him, And then
It's not a character.
I was playing like the underdog, trying to take his championship belt for the DJ battle, and we just put on a show.
Okay.
And we were going to do a chair spot.
What's the chair spot?
Me hitting
Basically,
him with this right here.
we pulling back the curtain completely right here. So if anybody's
we can put it in music terms. Let's put it in music terms. So basically,
so we worked through a routine.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, calling it in the ring would be if you were in the studio,
Okay.
you called your feature over, you cut on the beat, and you said, "Give me 16 right now."
So it's like a freestyle.
Precisely.
Okay.
A spot would be if you called your feature over to the studio, had the beat going, stopped the beat, and said, "Tell me what you think about this. What could we add right here? What could we do right here? If I play this back, do you hear that? You hear that hi-hat? We can add something next to it, right?" That's what working through a spot would be.
And people do that in a live match.
Got to be good enough.
Yeah.
It's very similar. If anybody wants to look it up, they can actually check out Andy Williams in AEW. He used to be in Every Time I Die, the hardcore band,
Okay.
out of Buffalo. He became the Butcher in AEW, and
The black guy with the bald head? No, that's up to
No.
My bad.
I was old school.
I was like,
the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny was the thing that I last
okay,
remember.
my bad.
I don't know if they're actually active or not. I don't have
yes.
cable. I don't watch.
Great.
I don't have cable
AEW.
either. I got streaming.
He's still
Yeah, I'm not trying to
Roku.
shit on AEW. But I just don't watch it because I don't have cable. But hint, Tony Khan. But yeah, he actually likened it to writing a song. There's an intro, there's a chorus, there's a bridge,
There's a hook, yeah, all that, yeah.
and there's multiple ways to do it.
You're right.
Like, not every song, especially in hip hop, not every song is structured verse, chorus, verse like a rock song is.
Right.
Most pop songs and rock songs are chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, verse, chorus. They've gotten shorter over the years.
Unfortunately, I'm tired of this 2.5 minute songs.
It used to be about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. Now it's 2.5 minutes.
And then they ain't even mixing it no more. Just be like, put it, export, put it on.
And I love him and R.I.P. But XXX Tentacion sort of changed the game.
He started that
with the assist of Ski Master Slump God. They made their stuff in Audacity, which is the freest, most reckless.
The first software program I ever used.
But they made it work.
They made it
God
work.
bless them.
And how can you get mad at them?
And I mean, it just goes to show you the only boundary is your own imagination. And pro wrestling is no different.
Not different.
Entertainment as a whole is no different. Nothing that you do is any different.
So let me ask y'all this then. What is the big picture of this? Is this build it to a certain point and sell it? Is it build it to a certain hope to build it to a certain point and try to take over and compete with some of the major brands?
I'm not trying to compete. We're not trying to compete. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to have our own lane.
Because some people do that. They'll build it to something they could just sell.
I feel like that's.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off. But I wanted to mention this earlier. We were talking about the PWF CMW event. Recently, there was the AEW New Japan thing, Forbidden Door. AEW does the Forbidden Door thing. Open door. That's what I was calling it to myself. It's an open door.
What's that mean?
We're not trying to hate on anybody over here.
Oh, gotcha. It's enough money for everybody. Yeah.
Come wrestle. That's why it's like any wrestlers, I can't reiterate this enough, any wrestlers who want to come get this open weight smoke, I might be in the ring with you. You never know.
Can I compete for it? I don't know how to wrestle.
Yes, sir.
But I've watched it
yes,
for a long
sir.
time.
As long as you can go, you can go.
Damn it.
If you can go, you can go.
I ain't 220. I'm 195.
You got to. We're gonna put you right in the main event scene.
It's like a lean 226.
That's bullshit too.
If Skiller come, we got to put him right in the main event.
Hey, nobody said anything about exactly. Holding one does not make you ineligible for a second.
He could get this one too.
I will be putting my name in the hat.
Absolutely.
It gets boring at the top.
Like anybody who's trying to get that belt is going to have to face probably the whole roster, and who knows who else.
And we want y'all. We want
and we got the cup, and we got other belts on the Stephen Crocker Memorial Cup.
Oh shit! Okay, you're right.
So we're gonna have a tournament for that.
It's a trophy.
Oh, like a Stanley Cup type of joint.
Yeah. Like plenty of other promotions have their own trophy. You know, for we got the Heritage Cup, we got the Crockett Memorial Cup. And I mean, and there's plenty of other ones too. But like, again, we're doing our own thing. We're creating our own lane. We're not trying to disrespect anybody else. We're not trying to create no beef. We're just.
So what will differ y'all
creating our lane
from what is y'all's lane? They can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes. What does y'all's lane look like versus your standard lane of a wrestling organization or faction?
We don't have $1 billion behind us.
But I mean,
is the shortest answer for that, to be honest with you. And if I had the same budget that Triple H is currently working with,
right, billions, right.
And the truth is, and
the things I would do
to take that a step further is our attention to detail. Like what we're not. You can look at this business as a live event business, but you're doing yourself a disservice. Again, I'll reiterate: we do live events, but we're making television.
We are music producers. I'm an audio engineer. I'm a professional audio engineer and music producer. I make many of the theme songs.
You got that Rick Rubin look.
There you go.
I appreciate that, sir.
Yes,
Rick Rubin.
No, that's a compliment.
I don't have heroes.
That's his favorite.
That's his favorite. Them, Rick Rubin would be on that list.
You got that look,
along with many other producers. But we're just thinking about these things at a much different level. Okay. And at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to call people out again.
Call them out.
Even WWE makes mistakes sometimes.
Of course, yeah.
Same weekend that we did our show.
What'd they do?
Money in the Bank.
They fucked up
same
the Money in
weekend.
the Bank?
It was same day. And it's like, yeah, there was things that didn't work out exactly right.
Money in the Bank
It
before, though,
happens.
with the briefcase.
It happens. It's a live show.
Yeah, right.
It's a live show.
No matter how much money you got, no matter how much your budget, you just cannot. People are still human.
Yeah,
right.
Like and you
it
just,
happens.
yeah, you can't.
And you can't be mad at people,
Mm-mm.
like or nothing like that. Like, because we all make mistakes, and we're gonna get it right. You know what I mean?
Stumble, pick yourself up.
At the end, like anybody who does their first like karaoke appearance, they're probably gonna sound horrible.
Yeah.
But by the 12th time they're up there, they're gonna have fans.
Yeah, my first sign language interview, it wasn't trash, but I could have improved on it. I forgot to focus in the camera, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm just like, I got the shit, bitch. I've been doing it for, for a couple years now.
You ain't got no notes or nothing. You just know how to do this.
Oh, I never take notes. I'm going to ask because I want it to be a natural flowing conversation. Absolutely. I feel like when you spend a lot of time referring to your notes, instead of listening to what y'all are saying and then responding to it, I'm really focused on, I've got to follow this list of questions. I never write questions down.
True.
Even the very first one, I never wrote questions down. So then what is the true end goal? To build something up to have content for the channel? Is it it sounds like y'all are not trying to compete with the big wigs.
I got this one.
Okay.
We're building a dynasty, brother, but we're slow walking it. Like, the truth of the matter is, like, we'll never be able to do what WWE does because they are the top flagship.
Of course.
wrestling.
And if you get close, they're just going to buy you.
Right.
And it is what it is. That's just the truth.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody come to me and Revolt TV say, "Yo, we want sign language productions," and they go 100 million, bitch, here go 100 million.
Bruh,
you can get all this shit. I'm going back home,
bruh.
I'm just telling the truth.
It won't be the first channel I sold.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm gonna keep it a beam with
Yeah.
you. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm just like going.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we'll talk turkey right quick.
So do y'all have milestones like 5 years? We want this. 10 years we want this.
For sure, because like we know that what we're doing is gonna revolutionize what indie pro wrestling is. See, we came from indie music. It's the same thing, but like we
Different
know,
font.
this is different font. Like, bruh, they ain't no one guerrilla marketing. They're talking too much. All right, so like,
it's not guerrilla marketing. It's just the digital version of hand-to-hand combat with promotion.
But they just
with a street team.
Okay, but you're a rapper. You came from hip hop. You know that.
Yeah.
Indie pro wrestling company takes their no names being dropped. But they shoot the best thing they could shoot. They put it up on the YouTube, and it gets 200 views. And they hope that we don't do that with our content. We putting it on like we're starting off putting it on a platform. We can't go backwards. So not that we want to be in a super different position than anyone, but we have to like the way we got to step is gonna have to be different because our stuff got to pass.
It ain't a game out here. It's really not.
Like,
you can't play.
So what's that?
Roku don't just be like, "Hey, put it up." Like,
okay, so what
it has to be good.
Before, just for those who are watching, what's the YouTube channel so that they can get a glimpse of what to expect on the channel?
We are
the Roku channel.
We're just being very strategic with it right now because like we've been building it for how long?
So
yeah, I mean,
it's still coming. Like it's not that we're holding content back. It's
Sound like it to be. No,
it's just that we want it to be delivered a certain way. Okay. You get what I'm saying? So we could put it up now. We could go out, grab all the hardware, the computers, and pop it up there right now. But then we would be contradicting what we believe in. You know what I mean?
Intentional with the content.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Especially with pro wrestling because this is a business where first impressions are lasting impressions.
Oh, of course.
And also, not to cut you off or anything,
but
when it comes to pro wrestling, this is something that makes anybody who watches it think and feel simultaneously.
Yeah, of course.
And that's important.
Yeah.
So, you understand the concept of giving a little bit of honey with the medicine.
Of course.
And
I like what you said, that wrestling makes you think and feel something. I remember the first time I heard that glass break and Stone Cold was walking out.
Do something, man.
Do something.
Yeah, there's certain, you know what I mean? Kane, he was in the ring and he did that thing and the fire popped up, or you know what I mean? Or I know what that feels like. Like I said, I don't watch wrestling now, but I watched it for like 20 years.
I know.
Not 20, but like 15 straight.
I know exactly what you mean though, because last WrestleMania when the Undertaker came out and chokeslammed The Rock, I was watching it with a friend of mine who did not watch wrestling at all.
He was going crazy with it.
But he knew of The Undertaker from his childhood
Right.
because The Undertaker is just one of the biggest.
It's iconic,
Yeah. He had seen The Undertaker on the internet and all that stuff. He had been watching wrestling for about 2-3 weeks or something like that. But as soon as that bell hit, he popped just as hard as whoa!
What? I'm telling you.
And
You remember the first time I ever seen a wrestler kick out of a finishing move was Stone Cold and The Rock. I can't remember which WrestleMania. But
you know, I know you know.
The Stone Cold kicked out of two finishes. He kicked out of the rock bottom and the people's elbow.
It was either 17 or 19.
Yes.
Is what it
And
is.
The Rock kicked out of the motherfucking stunner. I ain't never. You're not supposed to kick out no finishing move. And you know, Rock used to really sell the stunner.
Do a whole backflip.
Yes. Wrestling creates a feeling. Like you can hear it. They can't see me, but they can hear it in my voice. Like that shit make you hype. You know?
Exactly. And that's the whole goal of it. Is like, even when you talked about going to that live show, like there's two different lanes for professional wrestling. Like, you either get that emotion from watching it in person with your own eyes, or somebody like yourself that appreciates when they can pick up a microphone, when their music hits, when there's like, so that's where the production comes into it. There's ways to make people believe. It'll never die. You can always capture somebody's heart.
So as a wrestling athlete, do you get that feeling in the ring when you're actively wrestling? What's that feel like?
Absolutely. It's one of the most satisfying things.
Cool as fuck.
I've scored touchdowns. I've hit threes. There's no better feeling than getting that reaction that you're trying to pull out of that person.
Especially when you do that finish. What's the name of it again?
The broken angel. The broken angel.
That gotta be a cool ass feeling though.
It's indescribable.
You ain't getting up.
That shit gotta be cool as fuck. Now what you gonna do if somebody kick out of your finishing move? You gonna be big mad.
Yeah, I'm gonna show out. I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna crash out. I'm liable to crash out. Nobody has kicked out until this point, so when it happens, just know I'm gonna crash out. The referee is done for because somebody paid him off at that point.
Bruh, that's fucking crazy.
That's gonna be my only logic behind it.
I'm all right. The referee already done called me and said he tired of taking abuse. So,
You got shoved last time. Man, that was brutal. Yeah, it was brutal for everybody. Like, professional wrestling is not a game. Like, it's hard.
I remember Hell in a Cell, Mankind and Undertaker. He threw him off the top of the cage. Like, yes, we know it's ballet, but it's not ballet. Like some bullshit.
It ain't ballet, bro.
Okay, but good analogy. Good analogy.
Good analogy. Yeah,
it's theater.
There you go, theater. Yeah, there you go.
It's physical,
but
theater.
it's definitely real athleticism.
It's athletic.
Yes.
It's like if that's the best way I can put it. But to bring it home, when you asked about the main goal.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I got excited. It's my fault.
We all get excited, man. I mean, that's what wrestling does to you, man. Like, it's just if you ain't watched it before, because I know you got a lot of people that watch your show that may not watch wrestling.
Specifically hip hop, but I try to do a very broad audience. But
Nah, I think this gonna
just take a night.
It's
and
the
look
culture.
around.
Like, how many sweet chin music can I want past the ox? Like, you're gonna wrestling is infused in its culture. It's culture, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So all right. So to bring
the big picture. Sorry.
So you asked about what we're doing. I'll tell you right now that we're already in the pursuit of a performance center.
Okay.
Which we were to make it where it's a place where, like, because Teo's gonna be the Prince of Chaos.
Yes, sir.
In the big leagues eventually.
Is that your goal?
I hope.
Truthfully,
he will.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna happen.
He will be.
I appreciate you.
And so, but Teo is always going to have a home.
Nah, he handsome. He got a good voice. He's very charismatic. Like, I can fuck with it. Yeah, I can see why he's the champ.
So,
for real.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So, we need this guy.
I'm being serious. You can tell certain champions, and I'm gonna let you tell the big picture. But certain champions, even in the bigger scale of things, you're like, I don't know why he the champ. Like, I don't really like. Let me think of a. Come again?
Huh? What?
Okay. I'm trying to think of a garbage ass champ.
There's so many, but I don't want to.
I didn't like when The Miz was the champ. I get it because he's annoying.
Yeah.
And he was on their show. I forgot the name of the show.
Tough Enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I get it because he had built himself.
Came
up
from the
ranks.
real world.
Right.
The real world.
Yeah.
Like,
So I get it, but I just never could take him serious as because Kurt Angle to me was the same type of personality, but he was more believable as the champ.
Yeah, because he could actually shoot.
Yes, as Miz, I'm like, nah, you can go sit your ass down. I didn't take him serious as the
I
champ.
beat Miz. Never mind.
That's what he looked like he would beat up the Miz.
Let's go. Hey, let's go, Miz.
Hey.
You trying to? Hey, what you trying to do, Miz?
There it
Hey,
is.
but you gotta
Mike
go,
Mizzanin.
but you gotta go through him first because I ain't.
That's
you
the
know,
bad news.
I'm just,
That's
see what
the
I'm
bad
saying,
news.
though? But like cats like Stone
Oh,
Cold,
you
The
get mad
Rock,
now.
you know, them guys, The Undertaker, you know, Goldberg, Sting, they look like champions. Lex Luger is my favorite wrestler of all time. But anyway.
I respect
Word.
that.
I respect that.
The Lex
The
Express,
the
baby.
narcissist, whatever you want to call him.
all the way back.
It was in both leagues.
When he used to come out with the mirror and
Man, what?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm telling you, man. I'm sorry, the big picture. What's the big picture? We keep going down.
We're gonna do this all night. All right, so
I can do it this is my view
Even to
of
the
the big
fast one, so I can
picture.
shut the fuck up.
Is
Yes, sir.
I want to inspire critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's my life goal.
Wait, what's critical thinking look like in the lane of wrestling? I know it looks like
Doing things that inspire people to think of things outside of the box.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
There's so many options that you have within the realm of professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
You could, if pursued delicately enough and with enough intention, you could do almost any kind of storyline. WWE has attempted it,
several
but
times.
has been very tasteless in
Kinda
the
flat.
past.
Which particular storylines?
Oh man, I can't.
I mean, there've been some
Dog food. Let me just say dog food.
dog food.
Dog food and big smiles.
Eugene.
Eugene.
Talking about the whole
Yeah,
train?
yeah, it's just not right.
Nah,
It ain't
This is new
right,
shit or
man.
old shit?
Oh shit.
Old shit, yeah,
Eugene.
man.
Eugene was a.
Talking about
He's still active. He's around like Memphis wrestling and everything. He's not doing it quite.
you talking about my
the
man who
same,
was
but-
in charge of the Nation of Domination?
Nah, he's pretending to be special needs.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that. Yeah, that's
ain't
a little
right.
weird. Okay.
As
Yeah,
being
right.
as being an autistic father, like as a kid, I seen
Word.
that shit and like
Yeah, that's a little weird.
didn't
Okay.
think much of
Yeah.
it, like when you look at it now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's there's stuff that bro. They had a black pimp. They had a damn
Yeah, the whole train and all that.
I mean, that's-
it was the time. Like,
I mean, there's things you can play with, but
Yeah.
there's
I don't get mad at them.
lines
It was
that
the time. You can never get away with that shit now. They wouldn't even try it now.
No, hell no.
It's like I referenced earlier. I have to be able to sleep at night.
Right.
If it ain't right, you know it ain't right.
Yeah, it's a little weird,
You know,
right
you know
there.
it don't feel right. So don't do that.
I will say though, some of the older ones, even the black wrestlers, that they would make these novelty gimmicks or acts or
Man.
sticks. I ain't gonna lie, I like some of them growing up, but that's all I knew. You know, just being honest.
That's all we had.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a Nation of Domination. They had the Acolytes wasn't a black.
But
thing.
see,
It was
Farouk was in both of those.
Fuck yeah.
Ron Simmons, man.
yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
Because nobody really put
He's the first
disrespect on
black
Ron
champion.
Simmons,
Yeah.
man.
So
Because
first black champion.
Ron Simmons would really mess you up.
Oh yeah, in real life, yeah.
Yeah, what you're just naming is like, I mean, I think there's a lot of tropes like, black wrestlers have to already come and face like, as far as just, I mean, like, R-Truth don't know. He's a very capable wrestler, but I think we talked about this the other day. I was just like,
He won the championship.
I hate the way they book R-Truth.
NWA?
They book him too dumb.
NWA champion?
Yeah, like,
Too dumb.
you
Like,
don't-
he could be comedically stupid, but not look so
Like when they had King Booker, that was kind
absolutely
of
oblivious.
a little much.
King Booker, you know who Booker T is. So,
Yeah, especially when he was WCW Harlem Heat.
yeah, so I don't.
Him and old man
actually,
That's the Booker T.
I actually, look
Yeah.
at, I actually look at the King Booker as really an expansion of his character because, like, you already
From
know.
Harlem Heat.
Yeah, because no, because you already knew Booker was the motherfucker. You already knew Booker
true,
T.
yeah.
Yeah, like so.
Yeah, but King
That
Booker
was-
was kind of
Corny.
Yeah.
he wasn't good at it. But
Oh, okay. I was like,
but
he
I
wasn't
appreciate
cool.
seeing him just try it.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Because
Okay.
if you win, one thing that most people don't know about the WWE, but I've learned this for so long. If you win the King of the Ring, everyone changes their gimmick. Once you win the King of the Ring,
Is it?
yeah, your
Whoa.
gimmick is.
Today I learned.
Yeah, I just learned that. That's new.
You think all of them are just
dope.
walking around like they're the king for no fucking reason? Like,
No, but I
I'm being funny.
I mean,
No, 'cause you know
I know
WrestleMania
there
is
was like
the
some
big
people. I didn't know
one,
it was
yeah.
like everybody. I never noticed.
There's
that.
like
I
a
think
recess.
Brock is the only exception.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Brock won
what
it,
you
but
what you gonna
but
talk
you
about?
can't change
His
it.
What you gonna
personality
change
kind of
it?
Brock,
sucks.
yeah.
You know,
That
he's just
man
a
hunts
giant
bears for
human being,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just a big
what?
ass man, but his personality sucks. So, including that garbage ass
that's
tattoo he
just
has.
how that goes. So like, I don't. I think what is best he could do. He tried it. Like, and I thought it was good because it was annoying. He was a heel.
See, I like both. But what's crazy is those technically like Stone, not when he was it Sterling Steve? Before he became
Stunning.
Oh,
Steve.
Stunning Steve
Yeah,
Austin.
okay,
Yeah.
I mean, that was
WCW
technically a
days.
baby face, and then he became Stone Cold, which was a heel. But because we loved it so much, his heel character was realistically a baby face.
So that's what the tweener is.
Yeah, that's when the tweener was born.
I would
kinda.
say-
Is that what it was?
If he was,
Yeah,
if
he's
he
kind
was
of
just
the
not so
anti-hero.
fucking evil,
That's
I would
true.
call him a tweener. But then he just does something to just be like,
See,
God
yeah, y'all
damn
have
it,
to
I
show
hate
me
you.
this. We're gonna get the fuck up
Right.
out of here so I can look at some of this footage y'all talking about. I got that. I ain't got no cable, but I got Wi-Fi.
People would like him, and then he'll get you jumped. He'll be like, yeah.
But you could be that. You could be a Stone. You could definitely be a Stone Cold character. Just like
Oh, yeah.
The Rock was. He was annoying as fuck when he was rocking Maivia, and then he joined the Nation of Domination. He was still kind of corny. And then once he transitioned to The Rock, he was that dude. That he had the charisma, the personality, and I think you have that.
I appreciate
I
that.
ain't nobody,
That's a
but-
compliment. I mean,
I
I'll
ain't
take
nobody,
that.
but, yeah.
Fortunately,
Dwayne
we
Johnson.
don't got to go through no. I like The Rock too. You're welcome. But we
What?
ain't got to go through no. We don't got to go through like 7 Power Ranger transformations with Teo. He knows who he is. He's not a very nice person. I've witnessed him not be a very nice person.
Multiple times.
You remember the stories about the devil being just a very handsome, charming guy?
Yeah, he's a fallen angel.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that, man.
So what do you do? I'm gonna ask you this, and I'll let y'all leave on this one. So what do you do if? How do y'all determine if a stick, right? Or
Gimmick.
excuse me.
Gimmick. Yeah, you
A
got it.
gimmick. How do you? If say for example you have a gimmick with any wrestler, not just yourself,
Mhm.
but as a business, as an entity, if you go, man, we got this gimmick, but it's we like it, but they're not responding to it.
Ooh, good question.
Yeah,
What
that's
do you do then?
that's
Especially if it's a
typically when
good
you.
gimmick.
Yeah, I was about to say that's typically when you're faced with the difficulty of having to make that call on whether the gimmick is great, but it's
They ain't
not
fucking
getting
with it.
over. Yeah. So at that point, a lot of times you change the gimmick, which is not in favor of anybody,
Okay.
but it's business. But then a lot of times it just takes time. Like Roman Reigns is a perfect example.
What is his exactly?
The tribal chief, big dog.
He's the head
Oh,
of the
he
table.
Head
seems
of the table.
Samoan-ish or
Exactly.
Yeah, he's the head of the
So
table.
like
Okay.
to me, they rolled that out very early with him. When he really broke off into singles competition, when he was doing the multiple manias back to back to back, they were forcing him on the crowd instead of letting the crowd gravitate towards him.
Which way do you think is better?
They rejected it.
They should have let the crowd come to him naturally.
What do you mean? Give
So-
the viewers an example.
Okay, so basically,
LA Knight.
Break that shit down.
Wait, what?
LA Knight is a current wrestler who is
Who?
He's still very over.
yeah.
Like he's taken some big L's on big PLEs, yet he's still very, very over.
Because when you lit, you lit. But if you try to
Yeah.
force it down our throat,
Talking about like my man from
Pause.
WWE, and I hate to keep referencing, but that's the biggest one.
It's
What's the
go-to.
guy that kind of had that? He was a ginger. He had that Irish.
Sheamus.
Yeah, his character was really annoying, but over time you kind of like fuck it. We like that motherfucker. You know,
Precisely.
Is that kind of what you mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
So like the crowd will let you know, and that's
Yeah.
the beauty of wrestling is like without the fans, there's nothing. Like
Yeah.
you can go out there and do nothing for nobody, and it's
Yeah.
not gonna mean much. But when you add the fans and they give you that systematic feedback, well, hey, we kind of like this guy. I think we'll cheer for him every time he comes out.
Yeah.
That changes things.
Sheamus got to that point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like when Sheamus first came out, they were like, "Who is this guy?"
Albino with red hair. Like, who
Bro,
the fuck is this dude?
I remember they was calling him the human jar of mayonnaise.
Because he looked
Yeah.
crazy. And over time, he just got to the point people like, fuck it, we don't see him so much. We fucking with him.
Right.
Shout out Ireland.
But that don't work for everybody because
everybody.
and it didn't work for Roman. See,
Oh, it didn't initially?
what they did
Because I had
with
stopped watching by the time he came around.
what they did with Roman is like they worked in kind of like what we got going on with building the family around the head of the table.
Okay.
So now you have a whole Samoan dynasty, and like, man, it's beautiful. Like the last WrestleMania, The Rock came back because he's also a part of their family.
I heard about that. I didn't see it, but I had heard it.
So they did like
Did he wrestle or he just was like talking shit.
No, he wrestled.
Oh, he wrestled? Who did he wrestle?
He wrestled Cody Rhodes
Okay.
the first night.
He was in
Wait, the first night? I thought
that
WrestleMania is one night.
2-night event.
Yeah, it
They
was
changed to a 2-night event. That's fire. Okay, cool.
The first night it was a tag team match.
I like that y'all don't be hating. That's cool.
Yeah, it was The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody and Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Okay, very cool.
And since I mentioned Seth Rollins, I can't wait till they move to Netflix and we actually get to hear Seth fucking Rollins for the first time.
Oh, because he says it when he about to have
No. They like we never like that's his name. Like they like when they announce him, they be like Seth.
That's whack.
He's Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah. So now it's gonna be that shit gonna be
Never heard of him.
Fucking Rollins. Bro, that's crazy. But that's OTT. OTT?
Video on demand, supposedly.
Dropping jewels, man. You might have to charge for this episode.
I don't charge for no episode. I do this for fun. I do, man. I've got probably 40 interviews, 50 interviews.
No, it's very like I definitely want to say like, bro, it's very dope when I can like show people your body of work and stuff.
Oh, appreciate it, man. You showed it them?
Yeah.
They're like, who the fuck is Skillet? I don't know this motherfucker.
Oh, I was on the channel all day, brother. I was on the channel all day.
I appreciate y'all looking at it.
As soon as he told me what we were doing, I was on there all day. I was like, okay.
You had me at the Tribe Called Quest reference because that's...
Oh, I just took down the decoration for it. It's a backdrop. But yeah, that's my shit. It's over there on the floor. I'm gonna put it back up when we get done.
Word.
But so I definitely got to have y'all come back. But for today, we about an hour and 15.
Oh man,
no, it's all good, man. We having a good time.
Time flies when you have a good conversation.
Just to make sure if they missed it. After you, sir.
All right, I'm Vin Perp. I make music. I create events. I'm a chaos magician.
How do we find you? Any socials you want to give us?
At Vin Perp. If you want to follow the YouTube channel at Vin Perp Wrestling. That's wrestling. RASSLIN.
No, spell your socials.
Wrestling. Oh yeah. VENPERP. It's short for Venture in Perpetuity. I am a performance artist at the end of the day. Like I mentioned, I am heavily influenced by people like Andy Kaufman, Sacha Baron Cohen, just as much as I am Rick Rubin and Ninth Wonder and Big Crit. So like.
Big Crit just dropped something.
And Trent Reznor.
I saw it.
I can't not
How about
mention
dap you over that been bad song.
But yeah, man, like I do a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm an audio engineer.
Yes,
I learned how to do gorilla on a wrestling show.
Yeah, last Saturday. Thugging it.
I'm with it.
Like my resume is long, so.
After you, sir.
The Prince of Chaos,
hey.
Teo.
Yes, sir.
One of the best professional wrestlers, if I do say so myself. But who's asking me these days anyway?
Everybody watching.
Soon it's going to be everybody for sure.
Yeah, on Instagram, it is Teo the Forsaken. It's a little shameless plug here. If you're looking to come watch the Forsaken one on the 20th. Not even next week, this Saturday in Monroe, Georgia, at Southern Fried Championship Wrestling. I will probably be hurting somebody else again. So
I'm going to have to put this out this week. Okay, cool.
Okay, till death do us part. That's the name of the show.
Somebody gonna get hurt.
Somebody not that smart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's TAYOTHEFORSAKEN. Teo the Forsaken.
Mr. Shooter.
Yes, sir.
Reintroduce yourself. My name is Holt. No,
H to the O. No, let me stop.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man. John Shooter Hargrove on Facebook. Shooter Set for Life on Instagram. That's SHOOTER with the $sign. Now remember that part. SC Set for Life. That's on the Instagram. And man, definitely follow Palmetto Wrestling Federation. Like we're really trying to do some things. We're really trying to get in tap with the community. Not in touch, in tap. Like, you know how you turn a tap on? Okay. And they're there? Not in touch. Like you call. Let me stop. But, double entendres. Let me stop. But, nah, for real though. Truth of the matter is, man, we really want people to get involved. You know, we're starting to now get in, you know, the big picture. We're putting a staple here. Greenville's going to be a wrestling city, and we're going to have the place where you can come and learn. And it starts with our first champion. It's going to be champion 3, 4, 5, 7, 11 times over in the big leagues. So if you want to do something, y'all come and be part of the Palmetto Wrestling Federation. We got the open rate right here.
Quick question: you got a catchphrase as a wrestler?
It's a bunch of taglines.
Well, how about you? I normally say thank you for watching, thank you for listening. But how about you close us out with your infamous tagline or catchphrase?
Okay, I'll give you a little monologue. How about that?
Please,
Would that send us off?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
me.
Once again, you've been granted permission to stand and applaud some of the greatest men to stand in a room together here on Sign Language Productions. Do you know why? It's because we are the best thing out there. South Carolina knows it. You know it. Everyone around the world knows it. Palmetto Wrestling Federation is where chaos happens. It's where destruction happens. It's where I call home. It's where you need to be. And it's where everyone wants to be. So, good night, good luck, and keep yourself out of trouble. Sign language.